Hi everyone, Karine from the Strong Mums Club here, and today we're going to be talking about the connection breath. So connection breath is a great exercise that you can practice to help with the engagement of your deep core and pelvic floor. This is something that can be done prior to falling pregnant, all throughout your pregnancy, and postnatal to help heal any abdominal separation and really get that tone back in through the core and pelvic floor. With the connection breath, we can also train the core and the pelvic floor to aid labor and birth. The exercise can be performed laying on your back, sitting on your knees like I am here now, or sitting on a bench. During the later stages of pregnancy, I would advise in a seated position, which I'm going to be showing you here today. When we are sitting either on our knees like I am here or on a bench, we want to pull our butt cheeks aside so we can feel our sit bones either on the seat, or I can feel them on my heels here. We also want to make sure that our pelvis is in more of a neutral position. So we don't want our pelvis to be tilted forward and we're sitting more in our pubic bone. And we don't want the pelvis to be too tucked under and we have round to our back here. So we're really just looking for a nice neutral spine and sitting on our sit bones. We want to place one hand on the side of our ribs and we want to place one hand on our lower belly. And this is just to provide feedback as we're breathing in and out. So as we breathe in, we want to fill up our belly and we want to use our diaphragm to really draw that breath in. Now, as we go through our later stages of pregnancy, it can be a little bit tricky to move that diaphragm a lot as it does sit up quite high and can be a little bit squished up there. So we're just going to do the best we can. So as we breathe in, using our diaphragm to pull our breath in, we should feel an inflation through the belly and in through the ribs. And as we breathe out, we should feel the ribs and the belly come in. So we're going to inhale. Feel the ribs moving out sideways and feeling our belly inflate slightly. As we breathe out, feeling those ribs and the belly come in. Once we get more comfortable with this breathing pattern, we can start sending the breath down to our pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor is that space between your sit bones and your perineum, and we want to train that to be able to release and to contract slightly and help build that tone. As we are breathing in, you should feel a softening, a release or a relaxation of the pelvic floor or that space in between our sit bones. And as we breathe out, you should feel a little bit more tension through the pelvic floor. In, feeling that expansion through our belly and ribs and the relaxation of our pelvic floor or the space between our sit bones. Breathing out, our ribs and our belly comes in, and we should feel a little bit more tension through our pelvic floor. So from there, we want to start adding a lift of that pelvic floor. Now this is a little bit different to Kegels. So when we're taught to do Kegels, we're taught to kind of tense and tense and tense and tense, and we build a lot of tension. With this lift that we're going to perform with our connection breath, we only want to get about 25 to 30% of that tension. Again, we're going to breathe in, feel the inflation, relaxing the pelvic floor, and as we breathe out, we want to add a little bit of a lift. So what we should feel is like the vagina and the anus drawing up into the body slightly. And we should feel a little bit of tension through our deep core muscles here in between our hip bones. Now we do want to make sure that we aren't clenching the butt cheeks. They should stay nice and relaxed. And it's just that lifting feeling that we're aiming to feel. During the later stages of pregnancy, we want to perform the connection breath without adding that lift, as there is already a lot of tension on the pelvic floor from the growing uterus and the growing baby. We want to focus a lot more on the relaxation on the pelvic floor, because this is going to be a key component to birth, helping relax that pelvic floor to allow the baby to pass through the vagina. The connection breath is an exercise that is programmed all throughout my programming for pregnancy and my postnatal program is going to help provide nice strong tone to the core and the pelvic floor, as well as aid in your birthing process. And postnatal, it is going to be able to help create the connection through the core and the pelvic floor so that it is functioning correctly and providing the stability that we need, as well as help you heal any abdominal separation and aid in the healing of your prolapse.